let's do the Telegraph. And apparently Keir Starmer likes to listen carefully to his backbenchers, take their feedback on board, then modestly arrive at a decision. Just kidding. He ignores them and behaves like Keir Stalin, Paul.
Absolutely. He doesn't engage, says the Telegraph. Why Labour's backbenchers are turning on Starmer. So while the Prime Minister may have spent years preparing for power, we'll get to that in a minute, the result now is that he's the rookie error show. And, you know, who can disagree with that? It's become clear, this article goes on to say, in Liverpool, there is already a complete disconnect between Starmer, the Cabinet and the backbenchers. Starmer floats above the party with little connection to it. Now, I agree with the sentiment of this article completely. It's quite an interesting article to read. However, I don't think Keir Starmer's been preparing for power, per se. I think Keir Starmer's a prosecutor, Keir Starmer is an ideologue, and he is someone who gets very excited by rules. Power to him is a kink. It's not something he's been preparing for. It's something that he enjoys in his private alone times.
Wow, that sounds vaguely libelous. So I just want to say he doesn't enjoy power in his alone time.
Honestly, have you ever seen a more excited man by rules? Service.
He loves rules.
And that's not just someone bringing him his new glasses.
Nice. I thought Rosie Duffield put it well when she said he just doesn't engage. I hear this a few times, but he behaves like a politician, but is not actually interested in politics. And isn't that right, actually? He's like a Blair, post-Blair. He's not as good as Blair, he's kind of post-Blair, Machiavellian, just wants power, doesn't care about all this politics stuff. It's all about managing and power, right?
No.
Oh.
No, he is a politician, but the people who's voting for him are the world team, our team world.
Oh, I like the way you switched it there to try.
Well, I forgot what it was when I was talking.
Because he was saying yes, you said no. And then you had to think, why do I mean no?
Well, because no is always more interesting than I agree with you. But the truth is, he's more manly. I find him very manly.
What are you going on?
I know.
What's all this homoeroticism about Keir Starmer?
He's more manly than the other Labour Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. Or, that was a joke, David Miliband.
An inadvertent joke from Schaffer.
It was a good joke.
Schaffer's first joke, and it was an accident. David Taliban.
He's basically a brand new Tony Blair, as you mentioned, and that's what his team is. He doesn't care about the people of Britain. He cares about his paymasters over there at David.
And this is what happens when you get a supermajority without anyone really voting for him. Yeah. He can just wander around now for 5 years doing what he likes.
Well, Trump said he's very popular, but he's not that popular, is he? Because it's 20% of the country.
Yeah, Trump said that today.
Yeah.
So maybe I changed my mind. If Trump
Lord Ali is arguably the most popular
Trump likes him because Keir Starmer called him after he was shot and was nice to him. He's been very nice to me, great guy. The second he isn't nice to him, he'll be going, two-tier Keir. It's called two-tier, folks. It'll be...
And maybe that's what we want as our leader. We want someone who's tough as Trump, who's going to turn on him.
But not a communist. All right, let's do the Express. And Rachel Reeves is plotting a pension death tax, which sounds scary, but then so does everything Rachel Reeves says, because her mouth moves like she's trying to eat a very large club sandwich, Lewis.
I don't know about that. I don't watch her on TV like you do. You're obsessed with that.
Obsessed, yeah.
I think you should apologise for her.
I didn't write that.
You're going to have to apologise to David Taliban.
But you made a choice to say it.
Paul wrote it. And
right.
Yeah.
Enormous club sandwiches is all I was thinking about.
Did you not see the weird way her mouth moved when she was doing that speech the other day? No. And it just didn't look like a real person.
I didn't see it.
She'd been told to smile, but she can't.
Yeah.
So she had to try and work out what that meant. It looked like... No, I can't say that. But it looked like it was being done with, like, wires or something, like in an old-school animation.
You're so wrong for, focusing on a physical appearance. When you just focus on what she believes in. And what she believes in is, fears Rachel Reeves plotting a pension death tax as Chancellor, she's the Chancellor, looks to scrounge cash. She's saying, we're going to tax people's pensions. And as soon as they die or whatever, as soon as they're taken out of the bank, as soon as somebody says, I want to... Basically, they put it in the bank for 40 years, they get a bad interest rate, and then they get taxed on it when they come out. I think that's the way pensions
pretty much.
work.
I mean, currently, individuals can take 25% of their pension pot tax-free up to about 270k. So very, very hard-working individuals here. And I seriously hate is not even strong enough. I hate these tax policies, particularly when it's robbing hard-working people to pay for future policies that are absolute nonsense. I mean, these are entitled ideologues in charge of this country now. They're flouncing around with Lord Alley's credit card in their back pocket, doing whatever they want, making policies up as they go along. And now they're saying what we're going to do is take money off the working people. Are you having a laugh?
It's just that you think you're trying to get like a viral moment. You've gone full like Gammon in the audience at question time. They're just flouncing around. I'm sick of it. I, for one, the gentleman at the back there, I, for one, am sick of these bankers' bonus.
The man in the pig tie. The man in the pig tie. Yes, that's me.
That was so People's Gammon. That was unbelievable. Every time you say ideologue, I just think of Jordan Peterson. They're ideologues. It just comes to my head every time. And it's ruining the show. Let's do the Telegraph. And when Iran's brutal theocracy is trying to take out your opponent, that's when you know you're on the right side of history, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Revealed in the Telegraph, Paul, story 9. How Iran... how Iran could be interfering in US elections to undermine Trump. Think tank identifies 19 news websites, in inverted commas, it claims were created by Tehran to spread propaganda. One of them of which was something called the Western Sun, which is an English-language online outlet designed to cater for readers of the Muslim majority of the suburbs of Detroit. Now, this is a good point. I mean, because of social media now, this is how politics is run in the West. But the West doesn't help itself. We have the left of the West has created so many subcategories of people and minorities that it's a divide and rule situation. So we're in one group, they're in another group. Someone in the East, you go to Tehran, there ain't many minorities there.
That's totally not true.
They take minorities out the left and chuck them off the building.
No, there's plenty of different... There's Azeris, there's tons of other ones. There's lots of, probably 40, 50% of the people...
There isn't a political party in Tehran
that are saying,
we support the Labour Party.
You told me this before, and I didn't look it up. I should have looked it up. But Iran is one of the most ethnically diverse countries in the world, and that's one of the problems of this whole thing.
Are you one of these Iran propaganda things?
Yeah.
Because it says they'll be disguised as legitimate news outlets. Are you being paid by Iran?
I'm saying this.
Iran is a surprisingly good tourist option.
This is so when Trump is hurt, or whatever, I don't want to use those words, Trump is defunded, as they say, is that they're going to blame Iran and not the Democrats, who are like 28% happy about having him defunded. I mean, actually...
Yes, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Iran's after Trump. But, that makes me wonder.
Of course they're after Trump. They've been after Trump for years.
But doesn't that make you think Trump's a great guy, actually? Because Biden funded Iran with all this money, but Trump didn't, so they know that they're better off with the Democrats.
Yes.
Which makes me worry about the Democrats.
Yes,
that was
of
my
course
point
you should worry about the Democrats.
I'm very worried.
I remember
I've got to go, though, Lewis. We can't have time. Can you give us your massive anecdote after the break? Because let's do the Mail. And a cyber attack led to websites displaying an Islamophobic message, which Lewis will now read out in full along with his home address.
Story number 12 in the Daily Mail. Lewis. It's Lewis's name right there.
Lewis.
Police probe source of night sleeper style hack that shut down a rail station Wi-Fi as IT firm reveals legitimate administrator account was behind Islamophobic message. And they basically, some guy at the company that wires the...
Telent is the name of the company.
Isn't it, that wires the free Wi-Fi. So when you plugged into the Wi-Fi, it came out to I Love England. It says, we love Europe. And then linked with some supposedly Islamophobic stuff, which is just a list of terrorist attack. If that's considered Islamophobic, to list terror attacks...
It was about the Manchester... well, are we allowed to say what it was? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what it was. It's not
all the papers are blurred it out.
All the papers are blurred out. But what we do know, and I've seen the unblurred out version, is it's just a list of Islamic terror attack occasions. Like known, verified, ratified Islamic terror attacks in the UK. So this is a real paradox, because what they're calling this Islamophobic. And my point on this would be, why wouldn't you be Islamophobic about people that do these things? Now, we have to have open discourse on this. I'm not sure that's Islamophobic. I think listing terror attacks that have been undertaken by Islamist terrorists is not Islamophobia.
It's probably they've got the new definition of Islamophobia that Labour have
which
just
no one have got
and
yet.
they don't want to go to prison Because we probably will, just for saying it. We've got to move on. Go on, Lewis.
The question is, how many years is this guy going to go to jail for? He's probably going to go to jail for 38 months. That's my guess. I say 38 months. He's going to be sent to jail, but he won't do 38 months worth of time for posting this.
Well, we don't know, but let's move on and do the Telegraph. And the Met Police have reduced the number of stop and searches in a fresh new initiative to increase crime even more, Paul.
Yes. Met Police stop and searches plummet despite rise in knife crime. Like there's a correlation between the two. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, believe it or not, has backed stop and search as an extremely important tool against knife crime. Who would have thought it? She's a clever lady. Stop and searches by Metropolitan Police officers have fallen by more than a fifth in just a year, despite record rates of knife crime. And, of course, knife crime is a huge issue in this country. And we know statistically that stop and search is a great weapon against stopping people carrying knives. Now, the downside of this, of course, is the statistics also have shown in the past that far more black people have been stopped. However, if it's considered racist to stop and search and stop knife crime, perhaps we're going to need a little bit more racism. Because what we do need to do is stop this knife crime epidemic across our capital city and across all major cities in the UK.
Yeah, although your enemies are going to clip that bit if he's saying we need more racism.
Yeah, so let him deny it. Let him deny that. Is number one, you're wrong, Paul.
Thank goodness
you're
for that.
wrong, Paul, because it's freedom of speech and freedom of walking. You shouldn't be stopped and searched when you're walking down the street if you've done nothing wrong, for any reason, whatever the reason is. So there is no good reason for stopping.
Do you hate it when you get stopped, Lewis?
No, it stops me. I'm waving my hand, police.
Come over here. Have you seen me on TV? Like, who's this guy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I only have like 11,000 followers on Twitter.
That's not bad.
Follow me on Twitter, please.
It's not Nick Dixon numbers.
Lewis Schaffer. No, how many do you have?
I'm only on about 8.
I haven't checked. I think it's 35.8 thousand.
Is that right?
I'm losing. I know that.